Okay, we're still on the same street that you just saw images of. The second house on the street that has fallen into total disrepair. I'm sure you've all seen these types of houses in your neighborhoods or the not so good neighborhoods. You just know that they're vacant and they're falling apart. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take you and show you the insides of what these houses look like, some of the common problems, and what you can look for in foreclosures or houses that have just fallen into total disrepair. Just because you see a house like this, do not be afraid of all the weeds, all the overgrowth, the uncut grass. That's a good sign for you. That means you can be on your way to the next deal, and it may be right on your street. So not only are you improving your neighborhood, the deal's right down the street. You can walk to your rehab site. I mean, trash, get over it. You can pick it up. It's not a big deal. It's very important to walk the perimeter of whatever property you're looking at. You want to see the house from all angles. It's important to know your city and know what's important in your area. And this isn't New York City. We're in Pittsburgh right now, so everyone has cars, loves their cars, they need parking. If this is a flip or rental, people have cars, so really look for the things that are important in your neighborhood. Garages are obviously a bonus. We can see this one's in a little bit of disrepair, but the place to park is there, and that's what's important. So please focus on that and not really what it looks like. You can always come back to it later. And when you're dealing with foreclosures, people don't just stop paying their mortgage, they stop paying their bills as well. So it's not uncommon for utility companies to cut the lines to the street of whatever utility that was. This one just so happens to be gas. Companies don't usually mark the streets either, but you can always factor that into your rehab costs, you know. So that's not everyone knows about that or thinks about that. Okay, we are not in a prison. We are not in a dungeon. We're in a basement. This is what a typical foreclosure looks like, and at least in Pittsburgh, you got these lovely Pittsburgh bathrooms. They're just toilets in the middle of the basement, you know, for whatever. Tons of cobwebs. I'm going to tell you to bring a flashlight right now because these places usually have no electric. So come during the day, bring a flashlight. Most of this is just cosmetic. It's not a big deal. Like, these are common issues. Don't be afraid. It's a basement. Get over it. All right. Common problem. You're probably going to run into this like 90% of the time. Snip, snip. Copper's gone. Not a big deal. People like to steal it. They take it to the scrap yards, get money for it, yada yada. Just put PVC piping in when you go to repair it. You can put in your rehab costs. Not a big deal, but the midnight plumbers are usually always here.
Moisture in basements a common problem, but it's not necessarily a deal killer for an investment property. Lots of times it's a real easy, quick, cheap fix. Sometimes you need to check the gutters and downspouts because they might be leaking down in the corner of the house and leaking into the basement. Or it could be just the landscaping outside. You could just need to re-landscape away from the building on the outside so that the water flows away. The worst case scenario, you might have to put in an internal French drain. That can get pricey, but it is very doable. And in a larger project, it's just you build it into your costs and watch your numbers and manage them effectively, and not a big deal. Turns into a selling point actually because you can sell the fact that you have a bone-dry basement.
All right, as you're walking the perimeter, we're directly above that basement space that Bill had just talked about. And we said there could be some potential water issues. You can clearly see the downspouts are not connected, and they try to route the water away. Now your municipality and your city might have different restrictions, you know, with storm drains and such, but this is the kind of small stuff that you need to look at just as you're walking around. And, you know, once again, overgrowth, don't worry about it. There's access to the basement on the outside, which is always a bonus. So just look for this stuff.
Okay, here we're in the kitchen. We have some floor issues. We have some dated cabinets, dated countertops. Again, nothing scary in here. All this stuff can be dealt with quickly and easily. You can replace the cabinets, or you can paint the cabinets and put new hardware on. The flooring, you have lots of options there as well, from ceramic tile to peel and stick to vinyl. But again, this is very typical. There's nothing crazy in here. It's beat up, it's old, it's dated, but you know what? That's just simply an opportunity for you to create a 21st century kitchen for a new buyer.
Okay, we just walked into the entryway. This looks horrible, but most of these problems are really easy to remedy. In old houses sometimes there's oil-based paint and it can actually peel off and give this cracking look. It's usually not an issue with the walls at all, it's just old paint. And that comes with time, so you may think the house is structurally unsound, but it's actually not, it's just paint. And these stairways look really bad right now, but it's just paint. This looks bad, you know, your normal buyer doesn't want to get, you know, buy this or patch up the wall, but it's really not that big of a deal and it's not very expensive. So just keep that in mind. Okay, this room is totally obnoxious, totally not stuff you want to see as like a typical buyer, but as an investor it's no big deal. Paneling's ugly, the carpet's ugly, no big deal. Like, replace the carpet, put in what you want. You can either patch in the paneling and paint over it, or just leave it and paint it, you know, whatever. But do not let yourself get caught up in minor details like this. And if you're in rooms like this where you can see the roof, please always look at the roof. Don't just look at the top one. Look at the porch roofs. They can be just as or more expensive to replace than the real roofs. So look at the gutters, look at the siding, look at the other windows, look at the downspouts. Don't forget to look at this stuff when you're coming in the room.
It's not at all uncommon to come into a bathroom and see blue tape over the tub, the sink, and the toilet. If you'll notice, it says that this place has been winterized. The issue with that is not always are these things truly winterized. You have varying competencies of plumbers out there, and when you go to turn the water on after you've acquired the property, it's not always going to work, and you might end up having to pay for new plumbing. So the opportunity we have here is the fact that you have plumbing here that is in repair, and that other people might choose not to take on that project. That's a big project. However, for you as an investor, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to bring the current plumbing up to code and bring the house into the 21st century to make it attractive to new buyers. Finished ag spaces are tremendous opportunities, especially here in the 21st century where people are looking for a lot of value adds, and a value add is a finished attic space like we have here. In this particular property, we have tremendous closet space, another room off to the side there, and lots of open space here. There's some things to be concerned about here in the attic space though, one of which heating and cooling issues. Obviously in the winter, unless this place is vented correctly and you have duct work coming all the way up here, you're going to have very cold space, so you need to take that in consideration. Conversely, in the summer, obviously heat rises and you're right next to the roof, so therefore this space gets very, very warm, so you need to take air conditioning needs into consideration. Obviously the windows need to be taken care of, and obviously your roof needs to be intact as well, because if there's any leaks in your roof, right here in this space is where you're going to see it first. So all in all, the finished attic space can be tremendous value add. It can be a game room for the kids, it could be extra bedroom space, or it could be a master bedroom depending on how you work it. So that's this week's video. Do me a favor and follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.